I really hated myself after every loss. Not because I lost money, but because of what that loss represented to me at the time. It reminded me of who I thought I was, like a fraud, you know, someone stupid, someone that just couldn't get this right. You know what I'm saying? What a lot of people tend to overlook is how much trading affects you emotionally. And for many of us, we've all been through things before trading that kind of live deep inside us. And the interesting thing is that trading amplifies that to like the 10x to the 10th power, whatever you want to call it. It just amplifies all those beliefs because you're not trading just charts or price action, you're trading beliefs about yourself, right? So every loss that you took, that means something to you. That blown account meant something to you because it represents an idea of who you thought you were. So it's safe to say that a lot of us are literally running around with months, years, or maybe even a lifetime of unprocessed emotions. And these unprocessed emotions tend to come out in one or two ways. The first way we know it comes out in our trading, right? Because there's nothing worse than taking a loss, being mad about it, but approaching the next day with that same energy. You thought you were over it until you took another loss, and now you're revenge trading, you're over leveraging, you're forcing trades. Why? Because you have a lot of unprocessed emotions from the previous day, the previous week, or even the previous years. Okay, so a lot of these emotions tend to come out in our trading, but that's the least beneficial. The next way that these unprocessed emotions come through is through a process called emotional alchemy, where you are going to sit with yourself and you're going to process these emotions on your own. The big thing that I'm seeing nowadays, and I am just at fault as you are, is the fact that we're not allowing ourselves to be bored. Any minor inconvenience that I personally face in my life, my first go-to is get my phone. I want to laugh. I'll go on Instagram and I'll find a reel until I laugh. Even though that's like a temporary solution, it never fixes the problem because I never gave myself the opportunity to just sit there and process what just happened. Okay? And the only way you can really do that is by allowing yourself to be bored. So with the process of emotional alchemy, all you're really doing is that you are forcing yourself to sit with yourself. Okay? So how this process works is that you are going to literally first shut off your phone, okay? For 1 hour. Sounds dramatic, right? Next thing you're gonna do is that you're gonna find a room somewhere in your house, whether it's your room, your office, whatever. Go somewhere where you won't be interrupted. And what you will do is that you're going to stare at a wall for 1 hour. Sounds weird, but the shit works, okay? Because here's what's gonna happen. When you stare at a wall for 1 hour with zero distractions, it's going to be the weirdest thing. Here's what I found. The first 15 minutes of me doing this, I was very bored. I had these weird conversations in my head. I was like, this is dumb. Like, why am I doing this? You feel me? Like, I could be doing something more productive with my time than staring at a fucking wall, right? But here's where it got interesting. Around the 15 minute to 30-minute mark, a lot of weird feelings came up, okay? I started to think about those losses. I recently sized up and I took some losses and it hurt. I'm not gonna lie. And I felt a way about it, but I finally got to sit with it and I got to really see it out for what it truly was. And not only that, I got to think about the time I blew my account 4 years ago and I had to walk around Central Park for 3 hours just to get over it. But I didn't really get over it because at that time, that event, that meant something to me. It meant to me that I thought I was a failure, that I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was too dumb. Like maybe I should have just, go back to college or whatever. That's what that meant to me, okay? But all these weird feelings came up and I had to sit with it for the first time and just deal with it, Okay, so this is the interesting part. This is the real magic, is that 30-minute mark where you got to sit with all those weird feelings that you have been avoiding, that you have been distracting yourself with your phone, with your laptop, with Netflix, whatever. But now you get to sit with it. But here is the real magic. After about that 30 minutes to about 45 minutes, this is like the reframing part. Because now I got to sit there and I got to think, you know what? What did this actually mean to me now that I get to see with some fresh set of lens? And here's what I took, and this is big. I did the best I could with the information that I had at the time. And so did you. You did the best that you could with the information that you had at the time. We tend to blame ourselves. We tend to call ourselves stupid, that you're a fraud, you this, you that, but you did the best that you could with the information that you had, and that was it. Okay? So this entire time, all we're doing is that we're sitting with our emotions, feeling it out, and we're getting to understand what exactly that loss meant. What did that breakup mean? How does it all mean to you now that you're reframing it? And after the 45-minute to about the 60-minute mark, I just felt lighter. Like, this is exactly what I needed. We all try to look for answers outside of us, whether that be another YouTube video, whether it be a podcast or a book, maybe another Netflix series. We try to find answers everywhere but except inside of us. All we really had to do was learn to be still and just sit with ourselves with no distractions. But here's the thing, there's always gonna be that part of you that wants to keep you back. You know what I mean? So next time when you're trading, okay, and you start to see red and you feel that old version of you start to kick in, I want you to have this somewhere in your room. And it's really helped me out a lot. How would the future version of you handle this moment? It's deep, right? So when that loss is fresh, when you just blew that last funded, how would the future version of you handle this moment? Because here's the thing, you have the answers within you. You just have to ask yourself, how would the future version of me handle this moment? Because there is a version of you that has already experienced being funded. They made all the money, they did everything that they want. They have the answers, they're just trying to get a hold of you, but it's up to you to figure out how would they handle it by getting a hold of your intuition, because that's where they are living, okay? Boom.